Welcome to IT Governance, a podcast that shows you how to reduce costs and improve data quality through the implementation of IT governance. Here's your host and author, Helmut.
I think we can start. It's 8 o'clock. Hello and welcome to my live stream event at Kickstarter for my IT governance book publishing project. I'm very glad that you could make it to this event. And yeah, if you have any questions, I think you can use the chat window. I will have a look at it. And if there are some questions popping up, I will try to answer them as soon as possible. Yeah, what is this live event all about? It's about presenting my book, IT Governance. And we have two parts. The first part is the book itself, the publishing process, marketing. And the second part is the content itself. So let's start with the first part, the hardware, if you like. So the IT Governance book, as you can see it here in the background, it's the latest version of the cover with name and the subheading. Shows some of the icons of my transformation ecosystem. And on the back side of the cover shows the book description, author description, and very important, also shows the sponsored by field where we're looking for a company sponsor for adding their company logo. Yeah, hi Rita. Okay, so that's the book. The book will be published by mid of March 2017, and it will be published as paperback version and as ebook. So at least that's the plan. Also looking into some kind of audible version, but it's nothing agreed or clear yet. Yeah, then this will be around the approximate original size of the book, as you can see here. I can just take it over. So it's a handful of book. Again, the back cover, unfortunately nothing in at the moment. On the left-hand side, a bit further down, here's some competitive analysis. I've looked to some of the competitive products at Amazon.com and analyzed and tried to find out what are my USPs. And I could identify three main ones. The first one that differentiates myself to the other IT governance books is because it's written based on my own experiences. It's 18 years of consulting experiences that I could feed into this book. The second part, or the second advantage, is the book is very scientifically researched. Because I've used some of the content of my master thesis that I've done for my Master of Science in Information Systems Management, it's really well researched and profound, the content. And the third USP is also regarding the audience. The book is written for a very broad audience. It's not for a single professional area. It's very broad. So from a C-level point of view, CFO, CTO, CDO, up to a business analyst, enterprise architect, and actually for everyone who is interested maybe into a career within this exciting field of IT governance or data governance. Yeah, the book itself, just to finish this off, looks like this. So we have the cover, we have certain pages, just come a bit closer here. It's illustrated in order to allow you to understand the concept a bit better. There's also this transformation ecosystem that guides you through this whole book. So you will see it a couple of times, always in a slightly different shape. And this will make this complex topic a bit easier to understand. Yeah, so that's the book that is already written, just needs to be uploaded and published pretty much. Yeah, the headline, as you could see it, just again, it's about reduce costs and improve data quality. And that's usually a dilemma in itself, because when you try to improve data quality, usually you have some costs involved as well. Getting new software, getting a transformation project up and running, and so on. So this makes it actually quite hard to identify what are the cost-saving factors in a project. And this is also covered within the book. But first, I would like to show you about data and try to answer the question why data is so important. Let me just move the laptop so you can actually should be able to see the screen here. Okay, a bit closer. Okay. So why is data so important? First of all, you start with the data is on the lowest level, is very unstructured, transactional. You could have metadata, hierarchical, or master data. So it's really the data. An example of a data would be, for example, if you think about your, I don't know, your bank balance, and you have one payment within it. That's maybe one record, could be identified as one data. Not 100% good example, but I think it will work. On top of the data, we have then the information. So that means data can be collected, it will be optimized, it can be aggregated, and you get out of the data, you get you can mix and match and get information out. So in terms of our bank balance, you have one transaction here as a data, and you might have the full balance then here as the information. So you actually know what's your current status of your overall balance, not just one set of records. The next level of aggregation is then the knowledge. So once you synthesize and put information into a higher level, it gets to knowledge. And knowledge is then the base or the baseline for your decision, but also for the company decision management. And last but not least, the overall wisdom, hard to achieve and a bit hypothetical, but definitely true, is that from the collection of data up to the knowledge and wisdom, the value for the organization gets bigger and bigger. Okay, we have two more aspects. One is how the computer can work with it. So obviously with data, a computer can work very nicely. As soon as you go higher from knowledge and wisdom, it's actually very hard for a computer system or any technological system to work with this kind of entities, if you like. On the other side, we have the meaningfulness or the applicability of the information. So on a data level, it's very low, but it's more and more meaningful the higher it goes up to this pyramid. So that means value increase, it's more meaningful, but you can work less within a technological environment with it. So it means you have to use the human brain with this. Also, artificial intelligence now coming into place. So organizations are really heavily dependent on data, especially if you think about Internet of Things or the Industry 4.0. There are many different trends coming to the organization, and data is getting more and more important. Yeah, but many organizations also struggling to identify or to define what actually data quality is. So if you just think about yourself, what or how would you define data quality? Think about your daily life, work in the work. If you receive information or data, how do you define data quality? Obviously, I also cover this in my book and show you some of the samples or the overview of it. So no worries, I don't think you can read this. I will guide you through. So these are around 16 different attributes that the data quality can be defined. From the accessibility to the content, availability, timeliness, validity, and cost. These are the main attributes. And then you have different subcomponents like traceability, reliability, accuracy, uniqueness, completeness, relevance, coverage, volume, and much more. So these are all components that helps you to define data quality and also then to decide what type of attributes are important for your organization or maybe even for a specific process that you're working with. Yeah, my book also looks into the costs, the cost calculation of this. So how much does the, I don't know, how much would the cost saving be if we implement this or that? It's just a sample. They have also given us some samples of a direct cost sample, for example. So if you have a re-entry of cost, a re-entry of data, means data has been entered wrongly by a system, by humans. That means someone needs to re-enter the data again. These are costs, and these costs needs to be counted against the return on investment if you improve your data, because this obviously don't need to be done again if it's optimized properly. There are also other indirect costs like monitoring costs of data. You can't really assign it to a specific set of records. It's more a generic indirect cost. So besides this whole cost topic, once you have some kind of idea how much you will save, how much it will cost, then the next step would be to agree on some kind of transformation project. Transformation project in order to reduce the costs and improve the data quality. And for this, I will introduce you and show you the transformation ecosystem framework that you can see here now start building up. In the middle is the core organization. So that's your organization that you're working, and it consists of different subcomponents like people, process, policies, knowledge, management systems, technology, service and products, data, information. On the left-hand side, we have external factors like the competition, technology, external requirements, regulations, disaster happens to the organization, trends. And all these factors are actually influencing the organization and driving their change or driving their transformation. Then on the right-hand side, we have relationships to customers, partners, vendors. And the main input and output is mainly we deliver value to these partners or customers, and in return we get revenue. So that's a very basic, if you like, input-output diagram for applicable to any organization. So now if we think about transformation, the first step we need to decide or that we need to perform is, what is the current status? And for this, we have the enterprise architecture here at the bottom. It shows different models. Models that actually is a representation of your organization as you see it here right now. So if, for example, you have the process model, the organizational model here, the two icons. The process model is a typical process flow chart or process flow diagram, event process chain, BDM, any kind of notation. Whereas the organizational chart is some kind of org chart that you might have. And this is very important because it consists all of the objects above for a specific purpose. If you say, well, your transformation project is for the process cash, order to cash, then it's a very specific scope. This enterprise architecture is not only the as-is state, it could also be the to-be status, if you like. Yeah, and the last part that's actually missing here is the transition team or transformation member. So it consists of management, the board. They need to decide goal, strategy, risk, project, and program management, of course. And I think it's important that this transition team, if you like, is outside of the organization, so not inside, because they need to get some kind of high-level view on top of this change program. Also, if you think about larger enterprise, they would need to be outside the organization so they can manage multiple branches in multiple countries and continents, maybe. Yeah, and so based on this transformation ecosystem, the book is explaining chapter by chapter which parts of this ecosystem is relevant and how it can be applied to solve certain issues. Yeah, so that's the transformation ecosystem, and that's basically the core concepts on the red line, if you like, through the book. Are there any questions so far? Besides hi, that I can read here? Anything that you would be interested to ask about the book that I can help to answer? Okay, I hope I haven't bored you to death. Yeah, okay. Well, there's a question, is the poster included with the paperback book? Yeah, from the rewards, I think there's one reward level where there's a printed poster A2, so a large four color print. That's part of the reward itself. The image itself is a couple of times within the book itself explained. So there is no poster inside the book, but as part of the reward for the pledge, you will get a poster as well. It will be also then mid of March, then be able to download it from my website, and you can print it out by yourself, or just choose the right pledge to get the poster. Good. That's just a comment. Interesting. Please go on. Great. Then another question: if the Audible version is available, will it be definitely? Okay. Yeah, I'm still looking into it. On one hand, it's a nice idea to have this Audible version. On the other hand, I'm using a lot of graphics and images inside the book, and I think I need to describe much. I need to add much more description to it, because having this image, it speaks for itself, or at least you can build your story around. But in an Audible book, this is just an image and nothing else, and it's very hard for an Audible book to describe an image. That's actually also part of a core concept. I will come to a bit later. Maybe yes, downloadable version will be available for sure. Yeah. That's another main concept in my book. Maybe I'll move a bit in the middle here. Another concept of my book is also the visualization. It's very important that, similar to this framework, you actually need to visualize your artifacts, your processes, your technologies, your application architecture, in order to understand the relationships between these objects, but also in order to perform any risk assessments. Because just imagine if you remove a certain element, like here, you change the process on this side here. This might have effects on the data. This might have effect on the service and products. This might be against the policy that has been defined already, and maybe it's not possible to use in the existing technology. So it means a change in one of these icons will necessarily have some other impacts in the other areas as well. And it's very hard to understand this kind of complexity without visualization. So you need to build it within a system that everything is connected, and then you can do your decision on, if you change something here, what kind of impact does this have on the other side? Okay, good. I think that's, from my side, the high-level overview. If you have more questions, please just write them here or contact me directly. I think most of you have my direct email address and can connect with me via Kickstarter anyway. Yeah, I think I'd like to wrap it up here. Say thanks for joining my Kickstarter live stream event. I will try to save this somewhere, and then we'll publish it for later viewers. So thanks for joining. If you have no more questions, I would like to thank everyone, and goodbye, good night, and see you. Bye. Yeah, great. Thanks. Thanks, everyone, for your comment and attention.
Thanks for listening to this episode of IT Governance. For more information, join us at www.schinldwick.com. That's SCHINDLWICK, Schinldwick.com. and on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Schinldwick.